Welcome back into HQ, presented by Panasonic. CJ Stroud, former Ohio State quarterback, absolutely made a name for himself this past season. But is he the best quarterback in the draft? Well, if you ask him, he says, I'm the best player in the draft. Right now, Ryan Wilson has CJ Stroud going second overall to the Texans, with the Colts trading up with the Bears to take Bryce Young at number 1 overall. Our crew in Indy sits down with CJ Stroud.
All right, we're here with C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State. C.J., we had a chance to catch up with you at the Super Bowl, and I'm going to ask you the same question, and the question you've probably gotten a lot. Georgia game, you did everything, and you put your team in a position to win that football game at the end. Was that your best game in college?
I would say that was my best one game, but I think my consistency kind of speaks for itself.
It absolutely does.
So I've done a lot of multiple things throughout my career where I've showed my athleticism time and time again, but that was a game where I did it consistently in that game as well. So I would say that was my best personal game, but I think the body of my career has been pretty consistent.
And that's absolutely correct. I appreciate the fact that we got to see you run a little bit, even though you may not want to run. It took one less issue off the table, Rick, of what teams might be concerned about.
Yeah, and one question I want to ask you, we talked to you down at the Super Bowl, but now you're going through these interviews with the teams. As you're sitting there talking with all these teams, if they ask you if there's one game that you would want to redo on, what game would that be, and what would you do differently?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question. For me,
Thank you.
I mean, for me, of course, I would probably go back for that Team Up North game. But honestly, both of them, even though I think I did play, if you watch the tape, I think I did play well.
Can I translate real quick?
Yes, sir.
That Team Up North means the maize and blue. But we're not allowed to say that when you're from Ohio.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, probably those two games, even though I think I did play pretty good. My numbers were pretty decent, but you got to win. And that's the biggest stat as a quarterback is win and loss. And for me, I mean, it still kind of hurts even talking about it, but at the end of the day, I think you can tell that you can put on the film and tell the heart that I have, and I don't quit. So, but yeah, I feel like I definitely those are the two games I probably want to take back, and maybe Northwestern with those 70-mile-per-hour winds. So
We were asking, I know it was bad weather, but how windy was that?
it was windy. Like the ref was setting the ball, and the ball was rolling away. So it's like, imagine trying to throw in that. And I remember one of the guys in the media asked me, were you able to kind of navigate? And I'm like, no, sir. I couldn't pick up the grass and go like that. While
We couldn't even pick up the ball was rolling off the
Yeah,
the
300-pound guys are chasing after me. I don't got time to kind of have the luxury to feel the wind. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to dodge people.
If Marvin Harris Jr. doesn't get lost in that game, you guys finish off that game and beat Georgia?
Woulda, shoulda, coulda. I can't go there. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to finish the game, and Marv knows that. Of course, that definitely didn't help, but at the end of the day, that's what football's about. So adversity, you gotta finish games. So it's not because Marv got out that we lost. It was a multitude of things. I could have played better. That's something that I wish I went back and took some check downs on third down. I wish I extended the play another way instead of going this way. So yeah, it's something in football that you don't really notice until you watch film. And, yeah, it's tough like that, man. So I don't think that's why we lost, but it has something to do with it. But, I mean, you got to play better. So
Let's talk about the guys that protect you, because you're only as good as those guys in front of you, guys that are here this week that are going to play in the NFL. And you can pick the order, but let's talk DeJuan Jones, who can block out the sun, right tackle, Paris Johnson Jr., left tackle, and even Luke Whippler, your center, who obviously is the most important part of getting the play started.
All right. Rank them?
No, tell me about it. Tell me about the players.
Excuse me.
Yeah, we're not going to have you be a GM. Those guys won't talk to you, whoever you put third.
Tell me what they did for you and what you appreciated
let's start
about
with the
their
big
game.
guy. Start with my guy DeJuan. That's my basketball buddy, so that's the reason why he can move the way he does.
Does he count as two people when you pick teams?
He's one person, man. That's my brother. So, yeah, man, he's one thing about him that people don't give him credit for, he's very smart. He's very intelligent. He's making a lot of out calls where our tackles out of responsibility. If they seen a nickel safety stack, that he's making that out call. He was very, very smart when it came to that, and he definitely is very physical, of course, he's that big, but he's willing to do the dirty work, and that's something that people don't get him credit for. And Luke is definitely somebody who is when you talk about intelligence, it jumps off the chart. Sometimes he's too smart because he just makes things up in his head sometimes, but his snaps have always been consistent. That's something that he had to work on after freshman year. And once he kind of got used to being a center, because he didn't play center in high school, once he got used to it, he became very consistent with snaps, and his ID calls are very, very, very good, and he makes protection calls as well after I kind of veto him. That's our relationship. He's a vice president, I'm the president, so I make the big call, he makes the small call.
He makes recommendations.
Right.
Quarterback always the president.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Right.
You're talking about your offensive line.
I got one. My bad. I got
Yeah,
one more.
go- yeah, go ahead.
Paris. I can't leave my governor out because he's when you talk about just a businessman, very responsible, but a killer, like a dog. He's trying to kill somebody every play. You need somebody like that on your team, especially on your O-line. He's trying to kill somebody every single play, and that's something he actually had to work on as well. Is not trying to kill somebody every play and just kind of letting the game come to him because his footwork is amazing. The way he can move his feet. The way that he uses his hand placement, and he's constantly just talking about how smart and how smarter and how better he can use his hands. And he come up to me, he'll like, if I do this and this and that, then I'll get that. And it just shows you that he loves the game. But one thing about him, when he put that helmet on, he's trying to kill you. So
What do you tell him? If I do this, it's like, don't worry about it. Just block the guy so he don't hit me.
100%. I try to just give him my little feedback, but you the big guy. I don't know how to block nobody. So yeah.
Every smart quarterback has to take care of his guys up front, the offensive line. I played pre-NIL, so I looked at Olive Garden, all-you-can-eat salad and breadsticks and maybe some pasta. That's all I could afford. How'd you take care of your offensive linemen?
Yeah, so not only did I got the whole team express suits, got them all kind of gift cards, but DeJuan Jones ain't fitting no express suit. So I flew in a guy, one of the guys who does suits for me, my guy Brian. So and he made them all custom suits,
Oh, that's great.
custom tailored, and DeJuan actually decided to get a peach suit. So yeah, that shows you his personality. He walked out the first game looking like a big piece of salmon. So, but nah, yeah, so that's something I try to do, and then I would invite him over, cook for him. Yeah, we would just break bread, man, as brothers, because that's something that I take very seriously, my leadership. And I don't demand respect. I try to earn it, and I try to build that trust. So that's something that when it was time to yell and do things like that, if I did that with those guys, they respected it because I took time to know them and know what type of person they are. Like DeJuan doesn't like getting yelled at, so don't yell at DeJuan. Luke doesn't mind. Paris doesn't mind. They like to be yelled at because that gets them going. So it's like just knowing your players like that, and that took time. You know what I'm saying?
I will not be yelling at DeJuan under any circumstances.
No, sir. He
One
doesn't
quick
like it.
question. There's 4 top quarterbacks in this draft, and everybody's jockeying for position. It's been reported. Are you going to throw here at the Combine?
Yes, sir. I will be throwing.
Okay. The question I have is when you're sitting there interviewing with teams and they ask you, why should you be QB1 coming off the board this year? What do you tell them?
Yeah, for me, one thing that I start with is just my foundation as a man. When I'm a man of God, I want that to be known, and that I'm responsible and I'm respectable and I'm very mature for my age. I feel I had to kind of grow up fast growing up, so it kind of forced me to kind of be ready for these moments like this at an early age. And then secondly, my leadership. One thing about me, that's when I take pride in that because if you ask anybody at Ohio State, from EQ, from janitors, to anybody, that CJ Stroud gave them respect and that he'll put their head on the chopping block for them. So that's something that I take very seriously. And then 3, I think the film speaks for itself. I think I've been consistent through my 2 years of playing. I think that's something I really don't get credit for, but it's not up for me. So my play kind of speaks for itself, and then my leadership and just me being a foundation of man of God.
I got to tell you one quick story before we go. I was at his first start, and it was at the University of Minnesota that night game. And I was watching in the first half. I says, man, I don't know if Ohio State has a quarterback. And then all of a sudden in the second half, you came out and lit it up.
Right.
I had to erase my whole
He
report.
said he would have benched you. He said he would have benched you.
Why you erasing?
Well, I
don't get messed up.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
They don't let us warm up. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's my first game ever. It's raining. It's cold.
Right.
It's 60,000. Like, let a young brother warm up. You feel me?
CJ, let me thank you on behalf of me for taking Rick to task because he's been giving me the business all week.
Sure.
CJ Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Incredible interview there. DeJuan Jones, Jacqueline, by the way, because they talked about him so much, wouldn't fit in that express suit. 6'8", 359 pounds.
Oh,
so absolutely not. There is the on-field workout schedule. CJ Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, all working out this weekend. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.